but I would expect by tonight, I mean, that's what I would think, to get down to this level of here, 80,000. If we don't, it doesn't matter how far we get to, the likelihood is that we're going to get to 80,000. So you actually want that to happen as soon as possible, because it's not likely that we're going to avoid this level. And if we keep getting levels that it crosses, so let's say the next week's level is going to be around 84.4. It's not confirmed yet, but 84.4. But let's say we cross up over here and we don't get down there, and we get higher and higher. Well, we're headed we're headed down. So we actually don't want we want this to be cleared as soon as possible if we can. It's either that or we need a step change. We need a step change like we saw over here, where the levels, we move so far so quickly past the levels that these become levels that we just ignore. That they get mitigated by the yearly wave afterwards. So we need a big step change like this. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. So last week the trades few and far between. The weekly trade has not completed yet. That's still in the running. I'm still short in that running. I did a stupid move myself where I decided I'm so smart. I didn't listen to the charts. I didn't listen to the
Of
Shannon.
course, of
And
course.
over here, I was so confident that I decided to short again to add to my short over here, which is pretty stupid because this level was going to show up, and I just didn't really pay attention to it. It's what happens when you're trading 50x leverage and you get, your eyes become bigger than your plate. Is that a French? That's a French saying. It means that you ate more than you could, you bit off more than you could chew. There we go. And I just had to add extra margin to my position in order to avoid it. And I almost got liquidated here, almost got liquidated here, almost got liquidated here. So I'm pretty happy about this drop. But again, this is still the target. We also have this as a daily target that we didn't mitigate yet. So this is a daily target at 82.2, let's call it. So this level is not mitigated yet. So we have two things pulling us down towards the downside. Next week, we take a look at the trades next week. We're looking at 84.5 ish to be the level. We'll see what happens when we close today at 8 p.m. Well, 10 p.m. on the 2-hour bar. That'll tell us what the level is. I'll tweet that out. And if we're below there, you guys know the deal. The 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 goal is to look for a trade up to that level and then short. If we're above this level, you're looking for a trade down to it with a bounce. Now, the bounce, that would be in the direction of liquidity, but counter to the direction of the VWAPs. And so you sort of want to have a half position on that, a 2.5% position on that, not a full position, because you don't know where that bounce might go. Um, Nothing more glamorous than that, Peter, for the week ahead.
Well, that's I mean. Look, it's what the charts say. It's not about glam. It's about understanding what you're seeing and making progress.
I just
Yeah,
know that people like coming to church because that's what this is. You're coming to church, and you want to hear the rah rah. Jesus is coming soon. Bitcoin to the moon. I get that. I understand that. I want that too. Actually, I don't care, but I
yeah.
want that for you guys. But when we have this low volatility where we're not even getting 4% moves during the week, then I'm super bored. And I feel like what we need is for some sky is falling juice in order to get things going. And that's what FinTwit's been boiling up, right? We have all kinds of problems happening inside of the Japanese markets. We have all kinds of problems happening with the tariffs. We have all kinds of these issues bubbling. Repo market seems to be exploding. Collateral credit spreads are widening. These are all things that are dangerous, that are sky is falling scenarios. And what's great about that is that we know what the formula is when the sky falls. That's the government and central banks come in to support markets, they support collateral. Peter, this thing that people are talking about, I don't know if this is true, but people are talking about this idea of 10 years of a bear market, like we saw after 2000, the global financial crisis, .com, a bunch of different things. Uh, One, I can't imagine Trump leaving office going, look, market's down 50%. Market's going to market. This is the correction we all deserve, and this is what we're gonna handle. I don't see that coming. Not from a guy who's like, "Can we replace Powell in a legal way, in such a way that we can get some guy in?" And hey, if we're gonna like telegraph that and forward guide that, maybe that counts as forward guidance on top of the forward guidance for the central bank, and then people will front run that, and the markets will go up. This is what they're thinking.
Hmm.
This is what they're talking about. And Powell's not like, no, we got to be responsible and hike interest rates because that's the right thing to do. They're pausing. So like the hawkish of everything is, let's just keep lowering quantitative tightening and supporting markets. And the bull side is, America is the greatest market in the world. We need markets to be up. Markets are going to be up. Great time to buy.
Look, I don't see how things could stay flat. We didn't have AI after 2008. We didn't have robotics coming in 2008. I mean, there's disruptions that are happening.
Well, that to me is like 10-year plays. That's half turning to full turning plays.
You're not thinking exponentially, all right? Our brains are not suited for it. You got to listen to Ray Kurzweil.
Well, when the internet came, it was a revolutionary thing, but then it took 10 years before we actually got the Amazons, the tools that we used.
Tom, I vibe coded $1 billion app last night. So not sure what you're talking about. It's not going to take 10 years. I'm gonna get it done in about a Easter weekend. All right.
Well, in the short term, it doesn't look good for markets, which is bullish as hell. I am never going to make the COVID 2020 drop mistake ever again, the Volmageddon drop ever again, until proven otherwise. And we get a Peter Schiff, bear market for the next 50 years at the end of America. I'm betting that every drop is going to be met with liquidity injections to the wazoo. Never am I making that mistake again. You hear me? You hear me? All of these
don't
people want the markets to be up and to the right. All of them. Oh, well,
don't
it's
bet
what the rich
against the
want. What the
institutions.
rich people want? I don't know. Maybe what the rich people want. Maybe that's what's going to happen. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe you think that's what's going to happen. What's his name? But Buffett's not sitting on $300 billion worth of dollars for nothing. You think he wants dollars? You think Buffett wants dollars? The thing that dropped 97% in value over the last 100 years. Do you think that's what he wants? No. He's waiting around for the moment he's going to get it. And when that happens, this little minnow is going to be in the wake.
Gobble gobble.
Gobble gobble.
Well, look, I like the learning of the markets. The it being boring just gives me time to digest it and to learn and figure things out. It gives us time to launch what you're looking to
That
launch.
is
So that's
true.
good.
That is true.
That's good.
Um, some might say it's providential.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
like it's
I
in the
think
Bible. In the Bible, I think there's someone who asked God to pause the day so they could win the battle,
to
and
kill a lot of people. You're right.
the sun paused. So that you've asked God, hey, look, I need more time to launch my product before the bull run, before all the excitement, before the Hallapalooza, and you got your wish. So you let us know when you're ready to launch, and that'll be the signal for the rocket takeoff.
Well, the way I see it, and you've always been my Aaron. I'll always think that Aaron to my Moses. I get it. You're the better speaker. I get it. So the idea here is that we're gonna get to the point where it's gonna be the Egyptians at our back. We're up against the Red Sea, and that one's gonna be like, Tom, I don't understand what's going on, and I'm gonna raise that staff. That sea is gonna part. And look, I get it. I'm not gonna get into the promised land. I understand that. You guys can. I won't get into
Yeah,
the promised
okay, but then we'll spend 40 years in the that's what happens after the parting of the sea. They spend 40 years in the desert wandering.
You have to think of it as a montage. There's like calf stuff in there. The tablets get given by God. I'm looking forward to getting some DMT Bush and talking to God in order to get more information. I am looking forward to that. And 40 years, it was like 40 lunar years. So it's not even, what is that, like a weekend? Something like that. Not even that long.
Yeah,
Look, the analogies don't work out perfectly, but you are Aaron and I am Moses.
I accept that. Moses had a bum deal. Moses is the Elon Musk of his time, gets the job done. Nobody thanks him for it.
That is how people see me. Look at that. Oh, we'll see what happens.